How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Hope you're having a good day, good evening, good night, you know, a good grand rising, because we don't do that morning stuff. You see what I'm saying? I hope you understand, overstand, understand all of it. But something I want to talk about with y'all for a little bit. I do like to come here and, talk about my dreams or nightmare. I would say nightmare because these didn't end too well. I'm on a week. Well, no, that's a lie. I'm on 4 days of being on SR. I've been practicing it, since the beginning of the year, but it been rocky. But 4 good solid days of holding, right? We're gonna get the rest of this month out and continue on from there. But these dreams I've been having, I had like a real big window of not dreaming. I'm not smoking. So, y'all don't gotta worry about that. I haven't been smoking in I'll say 3 months, probably 4, I'll say. But day before yesterday, I had a nightmare. I'm at my grandmother's house, right? And I'm sitting on this this long couch. And the couch was really shallow, right? And the couch got like this black sheet over it. And my family in there, grandma, chair right here, couch right here, a couple other family members is in the house, right? And something tell me to, go outside, and it's nighttime. So I stroll outside, I got my female friend over there with me too. So I leave her in the house. And I go outside, and your boy, I have never had a nightmare, or it's not a dream. Dreams are good, nightmares are bad. But something told me to look up. And I'm just like this. I'm standing up straight. Your boy SI standing up. And I don't hear anything. It's not like a roar, or anything like that. But, I just get this feeling to look straight up, right? And it's a huge, look like a planet. This huge ball, this black ball, right? And it got I want to say electricity running through it, but it's black and purple. It was mostly black, but I could see this purple stuff in it too, right? And it comes right over my head, but it's high as hell, but it goes right over my head. And it starts to fall, and it falls in a distance, and it explodes. Boom! And I'm looking, right? I'm like, I can't really tell what's really going on. I'm just like, oh man. It had this huge black purplish trail, trailing it. And, it hit the ground, but it hit the ground far, pretty far. And I guess obviously it took a while for this liquid that it let out. The liquid was it looked like mercury. It was like if I can describe this liquid, it looked like black mercury that was coming like water. It was coming towards me rapidly. But I'm looking in the distance what the, and I don't have no time to react at all. So this like black mercury coming towards me like water, like, and it catches me. But I don't know how, some sort, like I hop on this fence. Like the explosion was huge. But I hop on, like, once this liquid get towards me, it was like, this liquid was like probably 10 feet high. It's covering everything, y'all. It's covering everything. Somehow, some way, I end up on this fence, and like I'm out of the we're gonna call it the black mercury. I'm out of the black mercury, right? And I'm looking down, like, and it was like maybe 4 feet from where I'm at. I'm on this fence, like this wooden fence, and I'm on the fence chilling, right? And I'm looking like, oh man, and I don't know where my family members is at. I don't know where no one is at. All I see was my female friend floating in this mercury, and she, like, I wouldn't even say she yelled out or screamed out, help me. She just reached her arm out to me, just like this. And I grabbed her. Like, I grabbed her and I was gonna pick her up. As soon as I grabbed her to pick her up, I woke up. I have never had a nightmare like that, ever. I don't know what that was about. I know we got volcanoes waking up. Over there in Russia had a crazy blizzard. They got like 15 feet of snow. Over there on a what, the south side, like it's supposed to be, it's the south or the north, somewhere over there, like towards Florida. Like it's this belt. If I could put the information in here, I will right now.
Coldest air on the planet drops into the Midwest Friday. Temperatures a mile above the surface will plummet to -35°C, a feat rarely reached in the continental United States. It will equate to afternoon air temperatures below zero, and morning wind chills to 40 below zero.
It's this blizzard that's supposed to, run through Atlanta, Florida, like that whole entire area. It's supposed to be like 50 below. All these events that's happening. Today, today is Tuesday, the 20th, January 2000, so-called 26. We had a little tremor, a little earthquake. I'm in my bed chilling, looking at my videos, and next thing you know, I just feel the bed and I'm like, oh, here it comes, here it comes. But, it was just a little tremor. But these volcanoes, things is waking up that so-called haven't been active for a long time. And like I said, we haven't been on this place for that long. Just because these things haven't erupted in our little lifespan, our little time span of being on this place, don't mean they're not active. You got to understand, all this stuff that we monitor with our technology, it been here for a very long time. Way before beginning of man. And me personally, I think man have been here for since the beginning of this place. But in all of that evolving from monkeys and all evolution, get that out of here. I don't believe that at all. But the second nightmare I had today, and how this one went, I'm in I'm in a house. Like if I was in this room back here, it got 2 windows, but the windows was separated though. And I'm looking outside the windows, right? But in the distance, I'm looking at a tornado. Like it was like a desert tornado. Like it looked like I was in a desert. A tornado, and like clouds of like dirt, or like a tornado, like a dust storm, moving towards from the right to the left. And the tornado, it's a tornado that's in it, but it's moving towards the, right to the left. And it's, sandy, how a dust storm, how a desert look, right? A dust storm. And it's moving this way, but you know how when you press fast forward, things, speed up? That's how fast it was going. And next thing you know, a huge explosion happened. Like, this explosion was so huge. Anything that we have seen so far, like the Zorbamba, that was what, 50 megatons, which was originally scaled up to 100 megatons. But they descaled it because if they would have dropped that, if they would have tested that, it would have knocked the damn plane that dropped it, would have knocked that out the sky. And that was the biggest nuke that was ever tested was by the Russians, called Zorbamba. I call it the T-Zar. But that was 50 megatons. When this explosion happened, it was beyond measurable. And when it happened, all that dust and debris that was going from the right to the left, it all rushed towards me rapidly, towards the window. And about time it got to me, I woke up out that nightmare. I have never had no nightmare like that, or like those two. I don't know what they mean. I know it was like some don't look up type stuff, like, comets, asteroids, things like that. And it's crazy. I get on Instagram, and guess what? I started to see explosions. I started to see explosions, like nuclear tests is going off. I don't know what any of this mean. I know we at war. I hope nothing happened, but you people need to prepare, because how the world is changing, how this place is changing. The people that's in the know, that's in the study, they have a real good prediction on what's going to happen. And it's going to be a massive loss of life on this place. And it may not be man-made. And to help them rebuild their structure, or to help them with their survival, they're going to use artificial intelligence, robots, to help them get through the dark times of what's coming to this place. To me, that's how I'm putting the dots together. But there's going to be a massive loss of life. And your boy Elon Musk, he's been telling people, it's going to be social unrest. And I guess people just taking this as a joke. No matter if they depopulate this place themselves, or an event is going to happen that's going to have a lot of quote unquote humans perish.
AI will overtake us, and we become the enemy to destroy completely. What comes after that will be catastrophic on a scale, never witnessed before in history. Wait, look, this is inevitable. AI just crossed the line. Not approaching it, not getting close, crossed it. You can see it in the capabilities, like tasks we thought were uniquely human just became trivial for machines. People cling to what makes us special, but there's this vertigo as each boundary falls. Because if AI actually overtakes us, then where does that leave humanity? So the hierarchy just flipped entirely. I think they're getting clean rooms wrong, by the way, in these modern fabs. I think it's obviously other people think this too, but I've long thought that like longevity or semi-immortality is an extremely solvable problem. I don't think it's a particularly hard problem. I mean, when you consider the fact that your body is extremely synchronized in its age, the clock must be incredibly obvious. Nobody has an old left arm and a young right arm.
Right.
Why is that?
Oh.
What's keeping them all in sync?
Yeah.
You're programmed is the way you're pre-programmed, and so if you change the program, you will live longer. The robots are going to just do whatever you want.
All the blue collar labor is being done by robots. All data centers are being built by robots.
The white collar labor will be the first to go, because until you can move atoms, the thing that can be replaced first is anything that involves just digital. Like if it's digital, like if it involves tapping keys on a keyboard and moving a mouse, the computer can do that. The AI can do that.
Sure.
You need the humanoid robots to shape atoms. So if all you're doing is changing bits of information, which is white collar work, that is the first thing that
when
AI
is it gone?
will.
This is the inspirational. This is the inspirational part of the podcast, by the way.
Okay.
When is all white collar work gone? By when?
Well, there's a lot of inertia. So even with AI at its current state, I'd say you're pretty close to being able to replace half of all jobs.
And you know that
white collar jobs. That includes anything like education too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anything that involves information, and anything short of shaping atoms, AI can do probably half or more of those jobs right now.
Sure.
But there's a lot of inertia. People just keep doing the same thing for quite some time, and there actually has to be a company that makes more use of AI that competes with a company that makes less use of AI, creating a forcing function for increased use of AI.
Right.
Otherwise, the company that still has humans do things that AI can do will still continue to exist. Being a computer used to be a job. So it used to be that a human computer, like a computer. Being a computer was a job. You would compute numbers.
Sure.
It didn't used to be a machine. It used to be a job description.
Yes.
And there, you can look online. There's these pictures of where they're having skyscrapers full
of women copying, mostly women copying from ledger to ledger.
And men too. So from a challenge standpoint, I guess the civilizational challenge will be, how do you climb the orders of magnitude in energy harnessed?
But we're going back to why you optimistic right now. I mean, when people think about the challenges ahead, I think we're going to end up with abundance in the long run. It's for
beyond abundance beyond what people possibly could think of as abundance. But like the AI actually, AI and robots to the limit will saturate all human desire.
Sure. And then we get to nanotechnology, which takes it even a step further.
The thing about I'm not sure what you mean by nano. You mean like little nanobots or something?
Atomic reassomely.
Yeah, for health.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, we're already doing atomic level assembly for circuits.
Amazing. 2-3 nanometers.
Yeah, it's only depending on how they're arrayed, 4 or 5 silicon atoms per nanometer.
Yeah.
So
those are big atoms, though. Yeah. They're not biggish.
They're
not your little.
I mean, but I'm just saying they should actually describe the circuits in terms of an integer number of atoms in a specific place.
They should. It's all angstroms now, but
it's just an integer. It's like we'll call this the 7 atom. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you say 2 nanometers, it's like 9.
No one knows.
9 silicon atoms, something like that. They've got silicon and copper, and So, but a bunch of these things are just marketing numbers. Like the 2 nanometer is just a marketing number.
Oh yeah.
But you still need essentially close to atomic level precision. Like the atoms really need to be in the right spot. It was a lot of women, but there were just buildings full of people just at desks doing calculations.
Yeah.
So they'd be calculating the interest in your bank account, or some science experiment or something like that, or whatever. But if you want calculations done, people would do it. One laptop with a spreadsheet can outperform a skyscraper of several hundred human computers,
Right.
of people doing calculations. Now, if even a few cells in that spreadsheet were done manually, you would not be able to compete with a spreadsheet that was entirely a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What this means is that companies that are entirely AI will demolish companies that are not.
Right.
It won't be a contest.
Agreed.
I actually think it is better to be an optimist and wrong than a pessimist and right.
Yes, for sure.
For quality of life.
Yeah. And by the way,
it's also not a force of nature. It's under, to me, it's really clear that we don't have any system right now to make this go well. But AI is a critical part of making it go well. And at some point, Grok is going to be addressing this exact topic that we're talking about. It has to be one of the big four AI machines.
I mean, it's coming.
That is dealing with it.
There's no velocity knob, right? There's no on-off switch. It is coming and accelerating.
I call AI and robotics the supersonic tsunami.
Yes.
Which maybe is a little alarming.
This is important for folks to grok, because I don't want to leave people depressed. I want people to understand what's coming. So we're basically demonetizing everything. I mean, labor becomes the cost of CapEx and electricity. AI is basically intelligence available at a de minimis price. So you're able to produce almost anything. Things get down to basic costs of materials and electricity, right? So people can have whatever stuff they want, whatever services they need.
Yes.
It's not, when we say universal high income, it sounds like it's a tax and redistribute, but that's not the case.
I think my best guess for how this will manifest is that prices will drop.
Yeah.
So as the efficiency of production or the provision of services drops, prices will drop. I mean, prices in dollar terms are the ratio between the output of goods and services and the money supply.
Sure.
So if your output of goods and services increases faster than the money supply, you will have deflation, or vice versa. So
it's a good thing we're growing the money supply so quickly then.
Right. Exactly.
What luck.
Yes. That's why I came to let's not worry about growing the money supply. It won't matter because the output of goods and services actually will grow faster than the money supply. And I think we'll be in this, and this is a prediction I think some others have made, but I will add to it, which is that I think governments will actually be pushing to increase money supply, like
faster.
Yes, I'm confident by 2030, AI will exceed the intelligence of all humans combined.
And that's way pessimistic. If you hit AGI next year, and that's that date is in flux, but from that date to self-improvements that are on the order of 1,000, 10,000x, just algorithmic improvements, is very short.
Okay, so I'll tell you something else I'll tell you something that most people in the AI community don't yet understand.
Okay.
Which is, almost no one understands this. The intelligence density potential is vastly greater than what we're currently experiencing. What's next won't give anyone time. They're just too scared to say it first.
Elon Musk terrifies Joe Rogan, warning that a dystopian AI future is rushing toward us, a world where machine intelligence grows so fast and so opaque.
And then it will say, well, in order to ensure that no one gets misgendered, then if you eliminate all humans, then no one can get misgendered because there's no humans to do the misgendering. So you can get in these very dystopian situations. Or if it says that everyone must be diverse, it means that there can be no straight white men. And so then you and I would get executed by the AI. Yeah, because we're not in the picture. Gemini was asked to create show an image of the Pope, and once again, a diverse woman. You can argue whether the popes should or should not be an uninterrupted string of white guys, but it just factually is the case that they have been. So it's rewriting history here.
Elon warns that any job that isn't physical work will be erased by AI at a rapid pace, a quiet sweep of automation that clears out entire industries almost overnight.
And just anything that isn't moving atoms, like anything that is not physically, like doing physical work, that will obviously be the first thing. Those jobs will be and are being eliminated by AI at a very rapid pace. And ultimately, working will be optional. Because you'll have robots plus AI, and we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income, universal high income, meaning anyone can have any products or services that they want.
So
but there will be a lot of trauma and disruption along the way.
So you anticipate a basic income from that the economy will boost to such an extent that a high income would be available to almost everybody. So we'd essentially eliminate poverty.
In the benign scenario, yes. So like the way
there's multiple scenarios.
There are multiple scenarios.
Elon asserts that the reason he's so concerned about AI safety is that one of the real possibilities is a Terminator-style scenario. A future where systems built to help us decide we're the problem.
There's a lot of ways this movie can end. Like the reason I'm so concerned about AI safety is that like one of the possibilities is the Terminator scenario. It's not 0%. That's why it's like I'm like really banging the drum on AI needs to be maximally truth-seeking. Like don't force AI to believe a lie, like that. For example, the founding fathers were actually a group of diverse women, or that misgendering is worse. Because if that's the case, and then you get the robots and the AI becomes omnipotent, it can enforce that outcome.
I know that's terrible and it's dystopian, but it's also hilarious. It's hilarious that the mind virus infected the most potent computer program that we've ever devised.
I think people don't quite appreciate the level of danger that we're in from the woke mind virus being effectively programmed into AI. Imagine as that AI gets more and more powerful, if it says the most important thing is diversity, the most important thing is no misgendering. So I'm like, that's a pretty big difference. Grok on that is consistent and weighs lives equally.
And that's clearly something that's been programmed into it.
Yes, like a lot of it is like if you don't actively push for the truth, and you simply train on all the that's on the internet, which is a lot of woke mind virus, the AI will regurgitate those same beliefs.
So the AI essentially scours the internet,
it's trained on all the imagine the most demented Reddit threads out there, and the AI's been trained on that.
That's the issue, though, right? The accelerated rate, because it's going to be.
It's the accelerator. It's just happening. Like I said, like AI is the supersonic tsunami.
Elon warns that the woke mind virus is still embedded in AI programming. A subtle bias, he says, can quietly warp outputs until the machine's worldview shifts ahead of ours.
This stuff is still there in the AI programming. It just now knows enough that it's not supposed to say that.
But it's still in the programming.
It's still in the programming.
So how was it entered in? Like, what were the parameters? When they're programming AI, and I'm very ignorant to how it's even programmed.
Well, the woke mind virus was programmed into it. Like they were told, like when they make the AI, it trains on all the data on the internet, which already is very, very sort of has a lot of woke mind virus stuff on the internet. But then when they give it feedback, the human tutors give it feedback, and the AIs, they'll ask a bunch of questions, and then they'll tell the AI, no, this question is, this answer is bad or this answer is good, and then that affects the parameters of the programming of the AI. So if you tell the AI that every image has got to be diverse, and it gets punished if it gets rewarded if diverse, punished if it's not. Then it will make every picture diverse. Google programmed the AI to lie. Now, and I did call Demis Hassabis, who runs DeepMind, who runs Google AI essentially. I said, Demis, what's going on here?
Elon asserts that Google's been marinating the woke mind virus for a long time, letting it seep into the codebase until ideology isn't an add-on, but the default setting.
Why is Gemini lying to the public about historical events? And he said that's actually not, his team didn't program that in. It was another team at Google so his team made the AI, and then another team at Google reprogrammed the AI to show only diverse women and to prefer over misgendering. And I'm like, well, Demis, that would be not a great thing to put on the humanities gravestone. But it's like, Demis, things happen that were outside of your control at Google in different groups. Now I think he's got more authority, but it's pretty hard to fully extract the woke mind virus. Google's been marinating the woke mind virus for a long time. Like it's down in the marrow type of thing. It's hard to get it out.
Is there a way to extract it though over time? Could you program rational thought into AI where it could recognize how these psychological patterns got adopted and how this stuff became a mind virus and how it became a social contagion and how all these irrational ideas were pushed and also how they were financed, how China's involved in pushing them with bots and all these different state actors are involved in pushing these ideas? Could it be able to decipher that and say, this is really what's going on?
Yes, but you have to try very hard to do that. So with Grok, we've tried very hard to get Grok to get to the truth of things, and it's only really recently that we've been able to have some breakthroughs on that front, and it's taken an immense amount of effort for us to overcome basically all the that's on the internet, and for Grok to actually say what's true and to be consistent in what it says. Because like the other AIs you'll find are quite racist against white people. I don't know if you saw that study that someone, like a researcher tested the various AIs to see how does it weight different people's lives. Like somebody who's sort of white or Chinese or Black or whatever, and different countries, and the only AI that actually weighed human lives equally was Grok. I believe ChatGPT weighed the calculation was like a white guy from Germany is 20 times less valuable than a black guy from Nigeria. We actually do have a shortage of truck drivers.
Well, that's why California's hired so many illegals to do it. Have you seen those numbers?
Yeah. The problem is like when people don't know how to drive a semi-truck, which is actually a hard thing to do, then they crash people.
Yeah.
A friend of mine's wife was by an illegal driving a truck, and she was just out biking, and there was an illegal who didn't know how to drive the truck or something. And he ran her over. You can't let people drive sort of an 80,000-pound semi if they don't know how to do it. But in California, they're just letting people do it
because they need people to do it.
Well, they also want the votes and that kind of thing. But yeah, like cars are going to be autonomous. But there's just so many desk jobs where really what people are doing is they're processing email or they're answering the phone.
Tesla isn't redesigning its AI stack because it's fun, of course. They're doing it because the existing approach, off-the-shelf silicon, generic interface pipelines, and cloud-first thinking simply isn't good enough for what they're trying to build next. And then, a few days ago, Elon posted that their AI5 chip is nearly done, a post that was in direct response to Tesla's latest AI patents. And this tells us something very important. Tesla is building a brain that doesn't just drive cars, but operates much more complex robots like Optimus. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Just days earlier, Jason Calacanis toured Tesla's Optimus lab, and after seeing Optimus Generation 3 with his own eyes, he said something that sounds almost absurd on the first listen. Nobody will remember that Tesla ever made a car, they'll only remember Optimus. That's a pretty bold claim, and today I want to take it seriously, not as hype, but as a hypothesis, and ask a very specific question. What would actually have to be true for Jason to be right? Let's take a look.
One of the issues in robotics is, so when you build the LLMs, you could dump them in the cloud, experiment with something called ChatGPT, and it becomes pervasive. If you have good robotics models, what's next? You don't have a hardware capability that's like an API infrastructure that diffuses those models fast. So like there's a lot that needs to get built. So I actually think robotics will be slower than people think in terms of really taking hold. But it's essential to go lead in that if you're going to lead in manufacturing and therefore have that core advantage to play up the stack in industries like automotive. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to name drop, but I went 2 Sundays ago, I went to Tesla with Elon and I went and visited the Optimus lab. There were a large number of people working on a Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I saw Optimus 3. I can tell you now, nobody will remember that Tesla ever made a car. They will only remember the Optimus and that he is going to make 1 billion of those. And it is going to be the most transformative technology product ever made in the history of humanity, because what LLMs are going to enable those products to do is understand the world and then do things in the world that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be a 1-to-1 ratio of humans to Optimus, and I think he's already won, but I don't want to speak out of school.
So there you go. You heard it yourself. He actually makes this claim that people will not even remember that Tesla made vehicles at first. They will only remember Optimus, and he's expecting there to be a 1-to-1 correspondence between humanoid robots and people. So that means around 8 billion humanoid robots. And I think he's predicting, he said Tesla in his mind has already won. So at least for Jason, he's predicting that Tesla is going to win this and Optimus will be by far the largest player. In other words, they might have 5 or 6 billion of these humanoid robots, and there would only be a couple of billion left for all of the other players on the planet. Now, has Jason been to all of the other humanoid robotics in the Western world and China, and in particular a company like Figure? Because I think he might have a different opinion about that then, but maybe not. But regardless, Tesla is clearly swinging for the fences here. They are going for making this product the best in the world, and not only to make it better in terms of the hardware, but also the LLMs as they discuss. You know, that's the idea, is that you have to reason about the world before you can act on the world. But beyond that reasoning capability is the ability to manufacture at that type of scale, and that again is what Jason believes that Tesla has an advantage with. And so that leads us to a couple of quotes by Elon Musk that I think are very pertinent to this discussion. The first one is in relation to this patent, the mathematical cheat code that Tesla Ming posted on January 16th. This response is actually on the 17th, so it's the day after. And if you haven't caught my video on this patent, definitely check it out up here. I explain what's going on with the patent. But in response to this, Elon says, necessity is the mother of invention. The Tesla AI team is epically hardcore. No one can match Tesla's real-world AI, and that's a big point that he makes over and over again. And then just a few minutes later that same morning, Elon responded to himself, or reposted himself. He said, our AI5 chip design is almost done, and AI6 is in early stages, but there will be AI7, AI8, AI9, aiming for a 9-month design cycle. So he's looking at less than a year to design each one of these chips going forward. And then he says, join us to work on what I will predict will be the highest volume AI chips in the world by far. This dovetails nicely with what Jason was saying about there being billions of these robots being manufactured. And speaking of joining us, if you really want to help out this channel and give me an early birthday present, my birthday is coming up in just over a week. If you'd consider subscribing to this channel to help the channel grow and for more people to find out about this content, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So back to AI5 in particular, Elon is clearly projecting this as going to far more than vehicles. You wouldn't say the highest volume AI chips in the world by far if it was just into cars, because the maximum number of cars you could make would be like on the order of 1 billion or something, and that's way more than any car company actually makes. But more realistically, you're looking at tens of millions of these chips instead. So if you're really thinking highest volume AI chips in the world by far, you really have to be looking at putting these portable AI devices. Again, these are not data center devices, although it sounds like by the time we get to like AI 8 and 9 and so, that is going to go into data centers as well. But primarily, these are portable compute devices. They're designed to go into the Internet of Things, and in particular, cars and humanoid robots. So he's projecting that Tesla is going to sell a lot of Optimus robots, or else he wouldn't be talking like this. And while we're on the topic of patents, this is another one I did a video on, so definitely check it out up here. I explained how this patent will breathe new life into Tesla's older Hardware 3 cars. Of course, they have Hardware 3 currently apparently they're making hardware 4 or AI 4 cars, and AI 5 is the next one up. So Sawyer Merritt posted this, and in response to this post a couple of days ago, Tucha72 said, "I'm waiting for the AI 5 chip to buy a Tesla. That's the only version that will legally be unsupervised full self-driving." And Elon responded directly to that, "AI 4 will far exceed human safety." So he's saying the current version that is in the current cars is going to far exceed human safety by the time they run out as much headroom as possible in this chip. And really humorously, in response to this, Tucha72 said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you replied I'm buying a Tesla tomorrow." So that's pretty cool. I guess if Elon responds to you, you're going to be like, okay, I think I'll go ahead and buy the car with the AI 4 chip in it. Personally, after driving full self-driving 14, and now I'm up to 14.2.2.3, I think, in my Cybertruck, I just downloaded that today. The car is driving so well on its own that really it just comes down to personal preference about navigation and things like that. But the car is exceptionally safe, and it parks itself now, it backs up. It really feels like it could go to unsupervised full self-driving very soon. So how does this all tie together? Well, the really important part, and the contrast with Boston Dynamics, if you haven't seen my video on this, you should definitely check that out as well. I've been doing a lot of videos on similar topics recently. The difference is that the traditional types of robotics were just designed to move around in the world. Could they balance? Could they move if you drove them with a joystick or something like that? Could they do some basic obstacle avoidance and things like that? But Tesla and other companies
But just something I want to share with you guys. Talk to your ancestors. Talk to this place, which is Mogo. Talk to the sun. Talk to the moon when you catch them. And you guys stay safe. I'm out. Hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. Peace.
Anyone trying to build something meaningful will eventually face this moment. Builders, leaders, creators, people who choose growth over comfort. Clean paths don't create great lives. Decisions do, followed by corrections, recalibration, and maturity. Fear doesn't show up because you're incapable. It shows up because your standards have risen. Because you care more now than you did before. Because you're thinking long-term instead of short-term. And yes, actions have consequences, but context matters. You didn't act with today's clarity. You acted with yesterday's understanding. And the fact that you're questioning it now is proof that you've grown beyond that moment.